The grand hall of the Arcane Council echoed with a cacophony of voices, each representative fiercely defending their stance. Eldrin, a human wizard with silver-streaked hair and piercing green eyes, stood at the forefront, his heart pounding in his chest. He could feel the weight of centuries of prejudice pressing down upon him. Today was pivotal, not just for him, but for all humanity. Humanity's reckless use of magic has brought chaos to our realm, bellowed Lord Calith, a towering figure made entirely of shimmering crystal. His voice reverberated against the ornate walls, silencing the murmurs of dissent. They cannot be trusted. Their kind should be banished from our council. Eldrin stepped forward, his robes billowing behind him like a storm cloud. With all due respect, Lord Calith, we have made mistakes, yes, but we have learned. Our magic is a part of us, and we seek only to use it responsibly. Responsibly, scoffed Lady Seraphine, her wings folded gracefully against her back. Have you forgotten the last incident? The firestorm that scorched half of the western woods. That was the doing of a human wizard. An accident, Eldrin retorted, struggling to keep his voice steady. Every civilization has its growing pains. Humans have the potential to contribute positively to the council, if only given the chance. His words hung in the air, a fragile hope battling against centuries of mistrust. Eldrin glanced at his fellow human wizards, who stood at the back, their expressions a mixture of fear and defiance. He could feel Mira, his young apprentice, beside him, trembling slightly. She had watched the council's discussions with wide eyes, her future hanging precariously in the balance. Your pleas are meaningless, Lord Calith replied coldly. We have made our decision. Humans are to be stripped of their magical rights and banned from the council chambers. This is final. The council members began to murmur, their conversations swirling like a tempest. Eldrin's heart sank as the council leader raised his gavel, signaling the end of their audience. Wait, Eldrin called out, desperation seeping into his voice. If we are to be banished, then let us leave with our dignity intact. Allow us to prove ourselves in the world beyond these walls. We will demonstrate that we can wield magic responsibly. The gavel came down with a resounding thud, drowning out his words. The council's decision stands, the leader declared, his voice resolute. You are dismissed. The air felt thick with disappointment as Eldrin and his fellow wizards turned to leave. The weight of their expulsion settled heavily on his shoulders. They exited the grand hall, the ornate doors closing behind them with a finality that echoed in Eldrin's heart. Once outside, the sun cast a warm glow over the landscape, but it felt like a mockery of their defeat. The banished wizards gathered in a small circle, their faces grim. Eldrin, Mira said, her voice barely a whisper. What do we do now? He looked at her, determination igniting within him. We find a way to show them they're wrong. We will prove that humanity has a place in this world. There must be a way to reclaim our honor. The group fell silent, the gravity of his words settling in. Eldrin took a deep breath, a plan forming in his mind. I believe there's an ancient spellbook hidden away, one that holds the key to unlocking our true potential. If we can find it and unleash its magic, perhaps we can change the council's mind. Mira's eyes widened with excitement. But where do we start? Eldrin's gaze turned serious. We start by delving into our past and finding what was lost. Together, we will unleash the power within us and show the council that humans are not to be underestimated. With a newfound sense of purpose, the wizards began their journey, determined to reclaim their place among the stars. Their path would be fraught with danger, but they knew that the magic within them was waiting to be unleashed. The hidden sanctuary of the banished wizards was a crumbling fortress, nestled deep within an ancient forest. Vines coiled around the stone walls, and the air buzzed with the faint hum of residual magic, remnants of spells cast long ago. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation as Eldrin gathered the group in the main chamber, a circular room adorned with faded tapestries depicting legendary magical feats. Listen closely. Eldrin began, his voice steady but urgent. We need to recover the ancient spellbook that holds the secrets of our forebears. It's said to be hidden in the caves of whispers, protected by powerful wards and guardians. Mira stepped forward, her youthful face lit with excitement. But how do we even begin to find it? The caves of whispers are a treacherous place, filled with illusions and traps. Eldrin nodded, acknowledging her concerns. Indeed, but our knowledge of magic, combined with teamwork, can guide us. We'll need to gather supplies and formulate a plan. We must be ready for anything. As the wizards prepared, Eldrin reminisced about the stories of the spellbook's origin. It was said to contain not just spells, but wisdom, a guide to harnessing magic responsibly. He believed it could be the key to winning back the trust of the Arcane Council. After gathering their supplies, a mix of herbs, crystals, and enchanted tools, the group set out into the forest. The sunlight dappled through the leaves, creating a mosaic of light and shadow. Eldrin led the way, using his staff to detect magical currents that would guide them. As they journeyed, they encountered obstacles that tested their resolve. A sudden storm brewed overhead, rain drenching them, and making the forest floor treacherous. Eldrin raised his staff, calling upon a simple shielding spell to keep them dry. However, as the wind howled, Mira attempted a more complex spell to enhance their speed. "Wait," Eldrin called, but it was too late. The spell backfired, sending a shockwave of energy that knocked them off their feet. The storm intensified, and they found themselves surrounded by flickering lights, forest spirits drawn to the chaos. "Do not be afraid." One spirit, shimmering like liquid silver, floated closer. "We seek only to help. Your magic is raw but potent. Focus it, and you may yet find the path you seek." With their help, the spirits guided them to a sheltered grove where the storm calmed. Eldrin took a moment to collect himself, understanding that even in moments of failure, they could learn and adapt. Finally, after hours of navigating through the forest, they arrived at the entrance of the Caves of Whispers. A dark maw loomed before them, pulsating with an eerie light. The air was thick with magic, and whispers danced around them, echoes of those who had entered before. "This is it," Eldrin said, feeling a mix of dread and exhilaration. "We must be cautious. The guardians of the spellbook will not take kindly to intruders." As they stepped inside, the temperature dropped. The cave walls sparkled with crystals that reflected their lanterns, casting strange shadows. The whispers grew louder, swirling around them like a tempest of voices. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows. A tall, imposing guardian made of stone and light. "Turn back, trespassers." It boomed, its voice echoing through the cavern. "Only those deemed worthy may pass." Eldrin stepped forward, his heart racing. "We seek the ancient spellbook, a treasure of wisdom and power. We wish to use its magic responsibly to protect our realm." The guardian's eyes glowed, assessing their intentions. "To prove your worth, you must answer a riddle. Fail, and you will be lost in these caves forever." The wizards exchanged anxious glances, but Eldrin squared his shoulders, ready to face whatever challenge lay ahead. "We accept," he declared, steeling his resolve. The guardian spoke, the riddle echoing ominously through the chamber. As Eldrin listened, he felt the weight of their mission settle on his shoulders. This was the first step toward reclaiming their place in the magical community, and he would not let fear dictate their fate. The future of humanity's magic depended on it. The guardian's riddle echoed ominously through the cave, its cadence lingering in the air. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Eldrin closed his eyes, allowing the words to wash over him. He could sense the tension radiating from his fellow wizards, each one grappling with the implications of failure. Mira looked up at him, her bright eyes reflecting both curiosity and fear. "The answer is an echo," Eldrin said, his voice steady. It embodies the very essence of sound, existing yet intangible. The guardian's form shimmered, its stony visage softening as it considered his response. After a tense moment, it nodded. "You have answered correctly. You may pass, but remember, wisdom must accompany power." With a rumble, the guardian stepped aside, revealing the deeper passageway illuminated by glowing crystals. Eldrin led the group forward, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. As they ventured deeper into the cave, the whispers morphed into coherent voices, guiding them further into the heart of the magic. After what felt like hours of navigating twisting tunnels, they finally reached a vast chamber at the cave's core. In the center stood a pedestal, upon which rested the ancient spellbook, its cover embossed with intricate runes that pulsed with energy. Mira gasped, her eyes wide. "It's beautiful. Can we really take it?" Eldrin approached the pedestal, feeling a surge of power radiate from the book. "We must be cautious. Its magic is immense and must be harnessed with care." He carefully lifted the tome, feeling the warmth of the magic seep into his fingertips. The spellbook seemed to hum with life, almost as if it recognized its new guardians. As they gathered around, Eldrin opened the book to reveal pages filled with elaborate spells, diagrams, and annotations written in an elegant script. Each page seemed to shimmer with potential, each spell holding the promise of untold power. "Let's start with something simple," Eldrin suggested. "We need to ensure we can control this magic before attempting anything too advanced." They began to practice basic spells, drawing energy from the cave's ambient magic. Eldrin led the group through the exercises, guiding Mira and the others as they learned to channel their magic with precision. Laughter mingled with the occasional misfire of spells as the wizards experimented, turning mundane objects into small illusions and sparks of light. As they practiced, Eldrin noticed a change within each of them. Mira, once timid and unsure, began to glow with confidence as she successfully cast her first spell, a beautiful cascade of shimmering lights. The others cheered, their spirits lifting as they celebrated her success. But with newfound power came unpredictability. As they delved deeper into the book, they stumbled upon a section filled with powerful wards and protective spells. One spell caught Mira's eye, a binding spell meant to hold dark entities at bay. "I want to try this one," she exclaimed, excitement brimming in her voice. "Mira, wait," Eldrin cautioned, sensing the potential for disaster. But before he could say more, she had already begun the incantation. The air crackled with energy, and a surge of magic erupted from her hands, spiraling out of control. "Mira, focus," Eldrin shouted, but it was too late. The spell twisted wildly, creating a vortex of energy that threatened to consume them all. In a split second, Eldrin acted. He raised his staff, channeling a calming spell from the book. The energy responded to his command, slowly dissipating and stabilizing the chaos. The room filled with a gentle light as the magic settled, leaving everyone breathless. "Mira, that was too ambitious for now," Eldrin said gently, concern etched on his face. "We must learn to harness our power, not let it control us. Each spell is a responsibility." "I'm sorry, Eldrin," she whispered, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "I just wanted to show what I could do." "Your enthusiasm is admirable," he replied, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "But we must be united in our approach. This spellbook holds immense power, and we must use it wisely." With a renewed sense of purpose, the group recommitted to their training, focusing on mastering the basics before venturing into more complex spells. Eldrin could sense that they were on the brink of something extraordinary. With every spell they practiced, they not only honed their magic, but also forged a deeper bond as a team. As they prepared to leave the cave, Eldrin felt a spark of hope. They had not just found the spellbook. They had discovered the essence of their power and unity. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, but together, they would reclaim their place among the stars. With the ancient spellbook safely tucked away, the group emerged from the caves of whispers, their hearts brimming with newfound hope. The forest seemed more vibrant now, the colors sharper, and the air charged with magic. Eldrin could sense the change in his fellow wizards. They had become more attuned to their abilities and to one another. "Now we need allies," Eldrin declared, gathering the group beneath the canopy of ancient trees. "If we are to stand against the sorceress and her minions, we can't do it alone. We must seek those who share our vision." Mira nodded, her eyes alight with determination. "But where do we find them? Many in the magical community may still distrust us." Eldrin's gaze turned serious. "We begin with the Wardens of the Veil. They are a faction that protects the balance of magic in the realm. If anyone would understand our plight, it would be them." After a brief discussion, the group set off toward the Veil, a lush region known for its mystical creatures and ancient enchantments. As they journeyed, they encountered various magical beings, fae, dryads, and woodland spirits, all curious about the wizard's return. At the edge of the Veil, they arrived at a magnificent grove where towering trees intertwined with vibrant flowers. In the center stood a stone altar, pulsating with a gentle light. Eldrin approached, feeling a pull toward the energy emanating from the altar. "Who dares to disturb the Veil?" A melodic voice called out. From behind the altar emerged Lady Aloria, the leader of the Wardens, her presence both commanding and graceful. Her silver hair flowed like water, and her eyes sparkled with the wisdom of ages. "We come in peace, Lady Aloria," Eldrin began, his voice steady. "We seek to unite against a common threat, the sorceress who aims to disrupt the balance of magic in our realm." Aloria regarded them carefully, her expression a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. "You, humans, were banished from the council for good reason. Why should we trust you now?" Eldrin stepped forward, unwavering. "Because we've learned from our mistakes. We possess the ancient spellbook and the will to use its power responsibly. We seek to protect our world, not destroy it." The air thickened with tension as Aloria contemplated his words. Words are easily spoken, but actions define one's true intentions. What will you offer to prove your worth? Mira, sensing the gravity of the moment, chimed in. "We're ready to face the sorceress's minions and defend the Veil. We can use the magic from the spellbook to enhance our abilities, but we need your guidance." The Warden's eyes sparkled with intrigue. "Very well. If you are willing to demonstrate your abilities, we shall test you. If you succeed, we will consider an alliance." Eldrin exchanged glances with the other wizards, determination igniting within them. "What must we do?" Aloria pointed to the edge of the grove, where a dark mist lingered ominously. "There lies a portal. It leads to the Shadow Realm, a place where the sorceress's minions gather. You must enter and retrieve a token, a crystal heart that contains the essence of the Veil. Only then will we know your true strength." With their goal set, the group prepared to face the looming challenge. The atmosphere shifted as they approached the portal, a swirling mass of shadows that seemed to pulse with malevolence. "Stay close," Eldrin instructed, feeling the weight of responsibility settle upon him. "We need to work together, trust each other." As they stepped through the portal, they were met with a chilling landscape, one devoid of color and filled with echoing whispers. Shadows flitted around them, and the air buzzed with dark magic. The path ahead was treacherous, and the sense of danger heightened with every step. As they ventured deeper, they encountered the first of the sorceress's minions, shadowy figures that lunged at them with claws outstretched. Eldrin raised his staff, casting a protective barrier around the group as Mira unleashed a dazzling burst of light. "Focus your magic together," Eldrin shouted, realizing they had to synchronize their spells. The wizards rallied, channeling their energy as one. A brilliant light erupted, scattering the shadows and illuminating the darkness around them. However, the minions kept coming, relentless in their pursuit. Each encounter tested their resolve and teamwork, forcing them to adapt and communicate under pressure. With every victory, the bond between the wizards grew stronger, and Eldrin felt a surge of pride for his companions. Finally, they reached a dark chamber where the crystal heart pulsed ominously on an altar surrounded by swirling shadows. As they approached, the shadows converged, forming a massive creature, a guardian of the heart. Eldrin stood tall, determination etched on his face. Together, we can defeat it. We've come too far to turn back now. With a rallying cry, they launched into battle, combining their spells in a dazzling display of magic. The outcome of their quest, and the fate of their alliance, hinged on this moment. Together, they would unleash their power and face whatever darkness lay ahead. The massive creature loomed before them, a swirling mass of shadows and fury. Its eyes glowed like molten coals, fixing on Eldrin and his group with a predatory intensity. The air crackled with tension as the wizards prepared for battle, their hearts pounding in unison. "Stay focused," Eldrin shouted, raising his staff. "We need to combine our magic and strike at its core." Mira, standing beside him, took a deep breath, summoning her courage. "I'll cast a binding spell to immobilize it. You all attack when it's weakened." "Let's do this," Eldrin called out, and the group sprang into action. Mira began to chant the incantation, her hands weaving intricate patterns in the air as strands of golden light coalesced around the creature. The guardian roared, a sound that shook the very ground beneath them. It lunged forward, attempting to break through their defenses. Eldrin and the others raised their staffs, unleashing a barrage of magical energy. Bolts of light and bursts of elemental power collided with the creature, illuminating the dark chamber in a spectacular display. Mira's binding spell took effect, wrapping the creature in shimmering tendrils of light. It thrashed violently, struggling against its restraints, but the wizards pressed their attack. "Now, focus on the heart," Eldrin yelled. They concentrated their magic into a single powerful blast, combining their energies into a beam of radiant light. The beam struck the creature's core, and a deafening roar echoed through the chamber as it staggered back, the shadows swirling around it intensifying. "We're getting through," Mira shouted, her confidence surging as the creature faltered. With renewed determination, the wizards pressed their advantage. Eldrin felt the bond between them strengthening with every moment, their magic synchronizing into a force more powerful than any one of them alone. "Keep going. We're almost there." But just as victory seemed within reach, the creature unleashed a shockwave of dark energy. The force knocked them back, sending the wizards sprawling to the ground. The creature's shadows twisted and darkened, threatening to envelop them. Eldrin scrambled to his feet, quickly assessing the situation. "We can't let it regain its strength. We need to distract it while we regroup." Mira nodded, her expression fierce. "I can create an illusion to draw its attention." "Do it," Eldrin replied, determination fueling his voice. Mira closed her eyes, focusing intently. With a wave of her hands, she conjured an illusion of herself, radiant and sparkling. The illusion shimmered and danced, taunting the guardian as it lunged toward her doppelganger. "Now," Eldrin called, seizing the moment. The other wizards surged forward, unleashing their spells with precision. Flames, ice, and bolts of pure energy slammed into the creature, keeping it distracted as they circled around. The guardian roared in frustration, thrashing against the bindings and the onslaught of magic, but the wizards held firm, their resolve unwavering. Eldrin could feel the tide shifting. They were on the verge of victory. With one final push, he shouted, "Together, let's finish this." They all focused their magic into a single spell, a culmination of their collective strength. The air crackled as their energies converged into a blinding light. Eldrin poured everything he had into the spell, feeling the power coursing through him. The beam of light shot forth, striking the creature squarely in the chest. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as the energy enveloped the guardian, pushing back the darkness that clung to it. The creature howled, its form dissolving into shadows as the radiant light consumed it. And then silence. The chamber was filled with a warm glow, the darkness dissipating as the shadows receded. The crystal heart pulsed gently on the altar, its light soothing and vibrant. Eldrin felt a wave of relief wash over him as he turned to his companions, who were still catching their breath. "We did it," Mira exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Eldrin approached the altar, carefully lifting the crystal heart. As he held it, he felt a surge of energy, a connection to the magic of the veil, and a promise of hope for their future. Lady Eloria appeared at the entrance of the chamber, her expression a mix of awe and respect. "You have proven yourselves worthy, brave wizards. Your strength and unity are commendable." Eldrin nodded, still holding the heart. "This is not just our victory. It belongs to all of us. With this, we can protect the veil and rally others against the sorceress." Eloria smiled, a glimmer of pride in her eyes. "Then let us return and prepare for what lies ahead. Together, we will forge a new path." As they stepped back through the portal, Eldrin felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were no longer outcasts. They were allies united by a common cause. The journey was far from over, but they had taken a vital step toward reclaiming their place in the magical world. Together, they would face the sorceress and her dark minions, ready to unleash the true potential of their combined magic. As they emerged from the portal, the vibrant colors of the veil enveloped them, and the sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting intricate patterns on the ground. Eldrin held the crystal heart close, feeling its warmth pulse in rhythm with his own heartbeat. It was a symbol of hope and a powerful reminder of their victory, but he knew the real challenge was yet to come. Lady Eloria gathered the wardens, her voice echoing through the grove. "We have witnessed the strength of unity today. These wizards have proven their worth. And with the crystal heart, we can protect our realm from the darkness that threatens to engulf it." Mira stepped forward, her confidence bolstered by their recent triumph. "We need to rally more allies. The sorceress won't hesitate to strike back. If we're going to stand a chance, we must unite all magical factions against her." Eldrin nodded, inspired by her determination. "We should visit the Circle of Elements. They have powerful elemental mages who could bolster our ranks. Together, we can form a coalition strong enough to confront the sorceress." Eloria agreed, her eyes glimmering with approval. "I will send word to the Circle. Gather your things, for we must move quickly." The group prepared for their journey, packing essentials from the grove. Eldrin felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They had accomplished much already, but the road ahead was fraught with uncertainty. As they set out, the forest began to hum with life. Spirits flitted between the trees, their laughter a stark contrast to the darkness they had just faced. Eldrin felt the energy of the veil invigorating them, fueling their resolve. The deeper they traveled, the more the magic around them felt alive and intertwined with their own. However, as they neared the border of the Circle's territory, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew heavy with tension, and the vibrant colors of the forest dulled. Shadows lingered longer, and a chill crept into the air. "Something feels wrong," Mira whispered, her brow furrowing. "It's too quiet here." Eldrin nodded, a sense of foreboding settling in his gut. "Stay alert. We may be walking into a trap." As they approached the Circle's clearing, they were met with a shocking sight. The normally vibrant landscape lay in disarray. Trees toppled, elemental symbols carved into the earth, and a palpable sense of chaos in the air. "They've been attacked," Eloria said, her voice heavy with concern. "We need to find survivors and learn what happened." Eldrin led the group into the clearing, his heart pounding. They searched for signs of life, calling out to anyone who might be hiding. It wasn't long before they stumbled upon a lone figure, a fire mage named Kalen, crouched near the remnants of a protective ward. "What happened here?" Eldrin asked urgently, kneeling beside him. Kalen looked up, his face streaked with soot and worry. The sorceress's minions struck without warning. They targeted the circle to weaken our forces. Many of our mages were captured or scattered. A wave of dread washed over Eldrin. We need to regroup. Do you know where they took the captured mages? Kalen nodded, pointing toward the east. They've set up a camp in the Darkwood, near the cliffs. It's heavily guarded, but if we act quickly, we might be able to rescue them. Mira's eyes sparkled with determination. Then we have to go. We can't leave them behind. Aloria regarded the group, her voice resolute. This is our chance to strike a blow against the sorceress. If we can free the captured mages, we can bolster our ranks and show her we will not be cowed. Eldrin felt a rush of adrenaline. They had fought against darkness before, but this felt different. It was personal. Let's move. We'll formulate a plan on the way. As they made their way toward the Darkwood, the shadows deepened, and the forest grew eerily silent. Eldrin could sense the weight of their mission pressing down on them, but alongside it was the fierce determination of their shared bond. The deeper they ventured into enemy territory, the more they prepared for the battle ahead. Every step brought them closer to their goal, but also deeper into the heart of the danger that awaited them. The air crackled with anticipation as they prepared to face the sorceress's minions and rescue their captured allies. Together, they would confront the darkness that threatened to consume them all. With the crystal heart in hand, and their resolve stronger than ever, Eldrin knew they were ready to fight for their future. As the group entered the Darkwood, an unsettling quiet enveloped them. The dense canopy above blocked out most of the sunlight, casting the forest floor into a dim twilight. Shadows moved between the trees, and every rustle of leaves felt like a warning. Eldrin led the way, his senses heightened. "We need to stay close together," he instructed, casting a wary glance around. The sorceress's minions could be watching us at any moment. Mira walked beside him, her expression a mix of determination and anxiety. What if they have traps set up? We need to be cautious. Kalen nodded, glancing at the others. I can create a barrier of fire to protect us, but it will draw attention. We'll need to balance stealth with speed. Let's keep our voices low and move quickly, Beloria suggested, her eyes scanning the surroundings for any signs of danger. We can't afford to be caught off guard. They moved through the thicket, careful to avoid snapping twigs or disturbing the underbrush. Eldrin focused on the path ahead, his mind racing with thoughts of their captured allies. Each step felt heavier, and he could sense the weight of their mission pressing down on him. Suddenly, a rustle echoed from the shadows. The group froze, hearts pounding. Eldrin strained to listen, his breath held. The noise intensified, and before they could react, a figure emerged from the trees, one of the sorceress's minions, a dark-clad warrior with glowing red eyes. Intruders. The warrior snarled, raising a blade shimmering with dark magic. Get ready, Eldrin shouted, quickly conjuring a protective barrier around them. The group sprang into action, drawing upon the magic they had practiced together. Mira unleashed a burst of blinding light toward the warrior, temporarily stunning him. Now, attack, she cried. Kalen launched a fireball that exploded against the minion, forcing it back. Eldrin felt the surge of their combined magic, the rhythm of their spells synchronized in a beautiful dance of light and energy. As the warrior staggered, they'd pressed their advantage, working in unison to subdue the threat. But the skirmish alerted others. More minions emerged from the shadows, their sinister forms blending seamlessly with the dark woods. The atmosphere shifted, growing thick with tension as the wizards prepared for the impending onslaught. Fall back, Aloria commanded, summoning roots from the ground to ensnare the approaching minions. We can't fight them all at once. Eldrin's heart raced as they retreated deeper into the woods, the roots slowing their pursuers. We need to find the captives quickly. They could be in danger. As they maneuvered through the trees, they spotted the flicker of firelight up ahead. Eldrin's pulse quickened. Could it be the minions' camp? He motioned for silence, and they crept closer, peering through the underbrush. What they saw sent chills down their spines. A makeshift encampment of dark figures, with several captured mages bound and surrounded by flickering torches. The captives appeared exhausted and fearful, but Eldrin recognized a few faces among them, including the esteemed water mage, Leora. "We have to save them," he whispered, his mind racing with strategies. "But we need a distraction." Mira stepped forward, her eyes alight with inspiration. "If I can create an illusion of a larger force approaching, it might draw the minions away from the captives." "Do it," Eldrin replied, feeling the weight of responsibility settle upon him. "We'll need every moment we can get." Mira took a deep breath, summoning her magic. She conjured an illusion of several armored warriors, moving with purpose toward the camp. The figures shimmered in the dim light, their battle cries echoing eerily through the trees. The minions turned, their attention captured by the ruse. "They're coming," one of them shouted, rushing toward the illusion. "Now," Eloria commanded, and they sprang into action. Eldrin led the charge, channeling his energy into a powerful wave that surged toward the captive's bindings. The magic cracked through the restraints, freeing Leora and the others. "Quickly, follow us," Eldrin urged, his heart racing as the freed mages gathered around them. But their escape was cut short. The remaining minions, realizing they had been tricked, rushed back toward the camp, fury in their eyes. The battle was far from over. "Fall back. We can't let them regroup," Kalen shouted, readying another fireball. Eldrin felt the tension mounting. They had achieved a significant victory by freeing the captives, but they now faced the wrath of the sorceress's minions. They needed to escape the Darkwood and regroup, but first, they had to fight their way out. "Together," Eldrin shouted, rallying the group as they prepared for the fierce battle that lay ahead. United, they stood firm against the encroaching darkness, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The air crackled with tension as Eldrin and his allies stood at the edge of the camp, their hearts racing and magic at the ready. The freed mages huddled around them, their faces etched with fear and determination. They knew that the fight was far from over. "Form a line," Eloria commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We need to protect the captives while we fight our way out." Eldrin took a deep breath, rallying his thoughts. "We have to create a path through their ranks. If we can get to the trees, we can regroup and strategize." Mira nodded, her eyes aflame with determination. "I'll create a diversion. When I give the signal, unleash everything you have." "Understood," Kalen replied, his fingers already weaving fire magic. "Let's make it count." As the minions closed in, the darkness around them grew thick and suffocating. Eldrin felt the weight of their collective power, a potent force ready to unleash itself. Mira focused her energy, summoning an illusion of a massive storm brewing above them, lightning flickering ominously. "Now," she shouted, and the illusion erupted into a cacophony of thunder and flashing light. The minions paused, confusion rippling through their ranks. Eldrin seized the moment. Attack. He unleashed a wave of light that surged forward, knocking back the first line of minions. The others followed suit, their spells combining into a radiant display of magic. The ground trembled beneath them as Kalen's fireballs exploded among the enemy ranks, igniting the air with heat and brightness. Eldrin felt a rush of exhilaration. They were fighting as one, their energies flowing together in a harmonious symphony. But the minions were relentless. They regrouped quickly, charging back at the wizards with renewed fury. Eldrin's heart raced as he focused on the battle, dodging strikes and launching counterattacks. Each spell he cast was a reminder of their purpose, to protect their realm and reclaim their place within it. "Keep pushing forward," Eloria shouted, her voice a beacon amidst the chaos. She conjured vines that snared the nearest minions, slowing their advance. "We can't let them surround us." As they pressed deeper into the fray, Eldrin caught sight of Leora fighting alongside them. She conjured waves of water that crashed against the dark warriors, pushing them back and creating a barrier of mist. "This way, we can make a break for it," she called out, her voice strong despite the tumult. Eldrin nodded, his gaze fixed on the path she pointed to. "Follow her lead. We can't lose sight of the exit." With a renewed sense of urgency, they fought their way toward the edge of the clearing. But just as they began to break through, a familiar figure emerged from the shadows. The sorceress herself, cloaked in darkness, and wielding a staff that glimmered with ominous energy. "Foolish wizards," she thundered, her voice echoing through the trees. "You think you can escape my grasp? You will pay for your insolence." Eldrin felt a chill run down his spine. They had underestimated her. "We have to face her together," he shouted, rallying the group. The sorceress raised her staff, and a wave of dark energy surged toward them. Eldrin quickly formed a barrier, the magic crackling against the onslaught. "Hold strong. We can't let her break our resolve." Mira, drawing on her inner strength, joined Eldrin in channeling their magic together. "We must amplify our powers. We can overwhelm her." With a united front, the group pooled their energies. Eldrin focused on the light within him, the warmth of their collective bond. As the sorceress unleashed her darkness, their combined magic surged forward, a blinding beam of light cutting through the shadows. The clash was deafening, the ground shaking beneath their feet. Eldrin felt the heat of battle intensify, his heart racing as their magic collided with the sorceress's darkness. For a moment, it felt as though the world was at a standstill, light and dark, locked in a desperate struggle. Then, with a final surge of determination, their magic erupted, enveloping the sorceress in radiant light. Her expression twisted in horror as the brilliance consumed her darkness, scattering it into the air like ashes. With a piercing scream, she was thrown back, her form dissolving into shadows that fled into the forest. The remaining minions, witnessing the defeat of their leader, faltered, their will to fight crumbling. "Now, push forward," Eloria shouted, leading the charge as they advanced toward the remaining minions, driving them back into the depths of the Darkwood. As the last of the shadows dissipated, a profound silence enveloped the clearing. The freed mages gathered around Eldrin, their faces filled with relief and gratitude. "We did it," Lior exclaimed, her voice breaking the stillness. "We're free." Eldrin looked at his companions, the weight of their struggle lifting. "This is just the beginning. We must ensure that the sorceress can never threaten us again." With newfound purpose, they gathered together, ready to forge alliances and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they had faced darkness and emerged stronger, united by their magic and their resolve to protect their world. The road ahead would not be easy, but they were no longer outcasts. They were defenders of magic, and they would stand against any storm.